Okay.
Looks like she's recording. What's going on, guys? Today we're doing a brake fluid flush on a 2008 Mark V GTI.
Let's get started.
Nice.
As the car goes fast.
Yeah.
Alright, so to gain access to the brake fluid reservoir, which is right there, we're gonna have to take off the intake. We did that in our last video as well. It's fastened in 3 areas. Right here, at the MAF sensor, right there, and down at the bottom of the hosing right there where Michael is attempting to loosen it. Anyway, so once you get those 3 areas off, you can just pop off the intake, and it's easy as that. So let's do that right now. Take off the MAF sensor right here, which you just flick off with the screwdriver. You kind of just dig it into this right here and it should flip right off. No, not really.
So once you get the intake off, you'll be able to see the brake fluid reservoir. So the first thing you want to do is take off this cap. It's the brake fluid sensor. Just unscrew it. You know what we'll get some paper towel so we don't get that stuff all over the place. Because you definitely don't want to get brake fluid on any exposed paint, because it'll just eat it away. So we'll just fold this up a little bit, and then we'll just put it on top. If we can reach it, just clean it off a bit. Good. Nice and dirty.
All right, so to gain access to the brakes, we got to take off the wheels. So that's what we are doing right now.
Give me a little countdown or something.
Oh, okay, you can go anytime.
Oh, okay. Is it recording? Okay.
Yeah, it's been
cool.
recording the whole time.
Sweet. Okay. So we're just gonna check out the brakes. Have your caliper here. We're gonna go right in behind, and we're gonna take off your bleeder valve cover, and that'll just expose the bleeder valve or the nipple. So all we gotta do is we're gonna attach a tube onto the end, and then something to catch all of the brake fluid with.
All right, so since we have the wheel off, we're gonna take a quick second and clean the caliper. Yeah.
Yep. So we're doing the ghetto method. You need 2 people for this method. Lots of people have like a suction pump. That's okay for 1 person, but if you're doing it with 2 people, you don't need one of those, which is good, which is why we're doing this. All you need is like a beer to give your friend or something. So you want to go over to the reservoir and make sure that you always have fluid in your reservoir. If you run out of fluid in your reservoir, you're in big trouble. So keep an eye on that as you're doing this method. So what you're gonna have is 1 person down here, basically opening and closing the valve. So 1 person's gonna be down at the brake, and they're gonna be opening and closing the valve. So to open it, you push it left. To close it, you pull it right. And then the other person is gonna be in the car, basically pressurizing the system. In the seat, you have 1 person pump up the pedal until it's hard, so it's usually about 3 pumps or so. Once the pedal goes hard, the person at the brake is gonna open the valve. That person sitting in the driver's seat is gonna make sure that the pedal goes all the way to the floor and hold it there. After the brake fluid stops flowing out, that person at the brake is gonna close the valve, and this person here is gonna lift their foot off the brake and then pressurize it again by pressing on the brake 3 times. And then just continue that process. Now it's really important to remember while doing this, the person in the seat does not let the brake pedal come back up before the person closes the valve, because if you do that, you're just gonna have huge air bubbles, and you're basically just gonna have to like restart the entire process. So it's not a good thing to do, and you could be in big trouble. Just make sure that you're communicating throughout the whole process. It's really easy, nothing to be scared about.
Pumping it up again.
Opening, closed, pump it up. Good. And opening, and closing.
The dark fluid on top here is my old brake fluid, and the bottom area is where it would look like if it were clean. So mine was definitely pretty dirty, so it's a good thing we're doing this.
So this cover here, it's just located, it's tucked in behind, so you just have to squeeze your hands in there. If you got big hands, prepare to suffer. Yeah, it's not too bad to access. Right behind the top caliper bolt, twist it off and try and pull it. It's a little bit of a pain if you haven't done it yourself in a while. just got to keep the reservoir full. Full-ish.
So obviously for the other side of the car, you're gonna repeat exactly what we did on this side. We're just gonna put this wheel back on and then move on to the other side. Then we're pretty much good to go. Okay, so we got both wheels on the passenger side. We're gonna take it for a test run to make sure everything's running well.
That was pretty funny. Make sure before you send your friend home that you go for a test drive. And if you feel that you have a long pedal at all, make sure that you bring it back and just make sure you check all 4 corners, make sure it's all good, that you have no air in your lines, and you should be good to go.
When you take it out, don't take it onto a main road when you're testing the brakes. Take it onto a side street, you know, something like that where there's not a ton of cars. That way you can test the brakes, and if they aren't running like they should be, it's not that big of a deal. And then once you're comfortable with it, then you can take it to the main streets, but don't just send your friend home like Mikey Boy was saying. So peace out guys, and see you later.